a werewolf romance audiobook written by Mr. Dave. Hey beautiful souls, are you ready for a journey from heartbreak to hope? From the ashes of rejection to the ice of true power. Tonight, we're diving deep into a world where the moon decides your fate, where ancient bloodlines hold deadly secrets, and where sometimes the mate bond gets it devastatingly wrong the first time around. I need you to buckle up because we're about to meet Luna Winters, a woman whose world is about to shatter in the most brutal way possible. But here's what I want you to remember as we begin. Sometimes we have to lose everything to discover who we're truly meant to become. Are you with me? Then let's step into the Blackwood territory on the night that changed everything. Chapter 1. The Rejection. The ceremonial dress felt like ice against my skin, though the summer night was warm. White silk, they'd said, pure as moonlight, traditional for a mate bond ceremony. I stood in the center of the packed circle, 21 years of hope and longing culminating in this single moment. Marcus Blackwood stepped forward, his alpha bearing unmistakable even before his father's official retirement. Dark eyes that had once looked at me with something like affection now swept over me with cold assessment. The mate bond hummed between us, that inexplicable pull that had awakened on my birthday 3 hours ago, marking him as mine and me as his. Except his expression said otherwise. Luna Winters, his voice carried across the gathered pack, formal and distant. 200 wolves fell silent. The bond is spoken, but I must think of my pack's future. My heart stuttered. This wasn't how mate ceremonies went. The bond was sacred, absolute. Chosen by the moon herself. Your bloodline is minor. Each word landed like a physical blow. No alpha heritage, no notable warriors, no pack advantages. As future alpha, I must choose strength. I must choose political wisdom. He turned to the woman standing beside his father. Sarah Redmayne, daughter of the neighboring pack's alpha. Beautiful, powerful, connected. I reject the mate bond. I choose Sarah as my Luna. The world tilted. Gasps rippled through the crowd, but they felt distant underwater. My grandmother had died 6 months ago, my parents years before that. I had no one to stand for me, no one to protest. The white dress suddenly felt like a burial shroud. Luna Winters, do you accept this rejection? Elder Crane's voice held no sympathy. Just protocol. My wolf howled inside me, a primal sound of anguish that wanted to tear free. Pride, what little I had left, made me lift my chin. I accept. The words tasted like ash. The bond between us shuddered, and Marcus flinched, the first real emotion I'd seen from him. Then he deliberately turned away, taking Sarah's hand. I didn't remember leaving the circle. Didn't remember shifting, my dress tearing away as fur erupted across my skin. I only knew I was running, my white wolf form blurring through the trees at the edge of packed territory. Behind me, I heard someone call my name, but I didn't stop. The rejection burned in my chest like acid, eating through everything I'd believed about myself, about destiny, about the moon's plan. Minor bloodline. Ordinary. Weak. Not enough. I ran until I didn't recognize the trees anymore, until my paws hit unfamiliar ground. Territory borders blurred past. I should stop, I knew. Crossing into another pack's land uninvited was dangerous, potentially fatal. But what did I have to live for? To return to? My wolf stumbled, exhaustion finally overwhelming grief. A stream cut through the forest ahead, moonlight dancing on dark water. I collapsed beside it, my wolf form giving way to human skin as I lost control of the shift. Naked, alone, destroyed. That's when the cold came. It started at my fingertips, a strange tingling that didn't quite hurt. I watched, too numb to be alarmed, as frost spread from my hands across the moss beneath me. Ice crystals formed in the air, catching moonlight like diamonds. The temperature plummeted, my breath misting even in summer warmth. What? The word came out broken. Well, a male voice, deep and calm, came from the shadows. That's unexpected. I scrambled backward, trying to cover myself, but the frost followed me, spreading faster now. A man stepped into the moonlight, tall, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, maybe early 30s. Power radiated from him. Alpha. I'd stumbled into another Alpha's territory, naked and apparently manifesting some kind of magic I didn't understand. I'm sorry, I gasped. I didn't mean to cross. I'll leave Isle. You're freezing the stream. He didn't sound angry, just intrigued. The water beside me was indeed crystallizing, ice spreading upstream. How long have you been able to do this? I can't. I've never. A sob broke free. I can't do anything. I'm nobody. I'm ordinary. His expression softened. You're manifesting ice magic on my territory, while simultaneously freezing solid ground in midsummer. Trust me, darling, ordinary isn't the word I'd use. He shrugged off his jacket, holding it out carefully, not approaching. I'm Kieran Frost, Alpha of the Frost Moon Pack, and you're safe here. I stared at him, then at the jacket, then at my hands where frost still swirled. I'm Luna Winters, and I think I'm losing my mind. You're not losing anything. He set the jacket on a frost-free patch of ground and stepped back. You're finding something. But first, let's get you warm and clothed, and then you can tell me why a wolf crosses borders in full flight looking like the world just ended. It did, I whispered, pulling on the jacket. It smelled like pine and winter air, strangely comforting. My mate rejected me. Tonight. In front of everyone. Kieran's jaw tightened. Then he's a fool. Come on. My pack house is a mile north, and you look like you're about to pass out. He was right. Exhaustion crashed over me as the adrenaline faded. I tried to stand, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. May I? He gestured, and when I nodded, he lifted me effortlessly. For the record, any wolf who rejects their mate for politics doesn't deserve the title of alpha. I wanted to argue to defend Marcus, but I couldn't find the energy. Instead, I watched over Kieran's shoulder as frost patterns spread across the ground in my wake, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Whatever I was becoming, I wasn't ordinary anymore. I just had no idea what that meant. Chapter 2, Sanctuary. Kieran's pack house wasn't what I expected. Where the Blackwood estate had been all cold marble and calculated grandeur, this place felt warm despite its size. Wood and stone, fireplaces in every room, windows that let in moonlight. He carried me through a back entrance, avoiding the main areas where pack members would see their alpha bearing a strange, frost-covered woman. Guest suite, he explained, shouldering open a door. Private, comfortable. I'll have Elena bring clothes. He set me down gently on a couch near the fireplace. Do you need a healer? I need answers. My voice cracked. What's happening to me? Honestly, I'm not certain, but I know someone who might be. He crouched before me, eye level, his expression serious. Ice magic isn't common, Luna. In fact, in my 32 years, I've only heard stories. Ancient bloodlines, moon witches who could command winter itself. We thought they were extinct. My bloodline is minor, I repeated Marcus's words bitterly. No notable heritage. Or someone lied about your heritage. Kieran stood, moving to a cabinet and pulling out a blanket. Records can be falsified, histories rewritten. If you truly are descended from moon witch lines, there are wolves who would want that hidden. Why? Because power like yours threatens the order they've carefully constructed. He draped the blanket around me. The council doesn't like surprises, and they especially don't like wolves they can't control. A knock at the door interrupted us. A woman entered, petite, dark-skinned, with a warrior's bearing and scars that spoke of survival. She carried a stack of clothes and stopped dead when she saw the frost patterns spreading across the floor from where I sat. Kieran, what the actual? Elena, meet Luna Winters. Luna, this is Elena Rodriguez, my second and head of security. Luna's had a rough night, and is manifesting ice magic she didn't know she had. Elena's eyes widened. Moon witch bloodline? That's my theory. I thought those were myths. Elena approached slowly like I might shatter. Or explode. Can you control it? I looked down at my hands, where frost still swirled lazily. I don't even know how I'm doing it. It just started after. I swallowed hard. After the rejection. Elena's expression transformed from wariness to fury. Someone rejected you? Tonight? Marcus Blackwood. He chose political alliance over the mate bond. That absolute. Elena bit off the curse, then sat beside me, seemingly unbothered by the cold. Okay. First, his loss, their stupidity. Second, welcome to the club. I was rejected 7 years ago for being too aggressive for a future Luna. She grinned, fierce and unrepentant. Best thing that ever happened to me. Found a pack that values what I can do instead of trying to fit me into some outdated role. Elena runs our security operations, Kieran added, and trains our fighters. She's the strongest warrior in 3 territories. And proud of it. Elena squeezed my shoulder carefully. You're safe here, Luna. The Frost Moon Pack doesn't care about bloodlines or politics. We care about heart, strength, and loyalty. You've got at least one of those already, or you wouldn't have run instead of begging. Warmth bloomed in my chest, painful after the cold rejection. Thank you. Now, let's get you cleaned up and fed. Then tomorrow, Kieran can figure out the magic thing. Elena handed me the clothes. I brought options. You look like a medium, but I guessed. She was right. I changed in the attached bathroom, studying myself in the mirror. Same brown hair, same hazel eyes, same ordinary face. But my fingertips sparkled with frost, and my breath misted despite the room's warmth. Not ordinary. Not anymore. When I emerged, Kieran had left, but Elena had settled in with food, sandwiches, fruit, chocolate. Real food, not the carefully portioned meals meant to keep pack females slender and decorative. Eat, she ordered. Magic takes energy, and you look half-starved. I devoured the sandwiches while she talked, telling me about the pack, the territory, the members. 27 wolves total, small by most standards, but chosen carefully. Kieran had inherited after his parents died 5 years ago, victims of a mate bond gone wrong. His mother was mated to someone else first, Elena explained quietly. An abusive bastard, she eventually escaped. Years later, she found Kieran's father, her true mate. They had 10 beautiful years together, but the first mate came back. Tried to force the bond back into place with some kind of ancient ritual. It killed all 3 of them. My hand froze halfway to my mouth. That's horrible. It's why Kieran is particular about consent and choice. Why he built this pack the way he did. Elena met my eyes. He won't push you, Luna. Not for information, not for anything. You can stay as long as you need, and when you leave, if you leave, it'll be your choice. I have nowhere else to go. Then you have somewhere now. She stood, collecting the empty plates. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be interesting, especially if that frost keeps spreading. After she left, I lay in the unfamiliar bed, watching moonlight paint silver patterns across the ceiling. My wolf, so anguished hours ago, felt quiet now. Not healed, but no longer howling. The mate bond with Marcus was a dull ache instead of a severed artery. And my hands, resting on the blanket, glowed faintly with frost that no longer frightened me quite so much. Maybe Elena was right. Maybe this was the beginning of something instead of the end. I fell asleep to that thought, and for the first time all night, I didn't dream of white dresses and rejection. I dreamed of winter's first snow, beautiful and inevitable, blanketing the world in possibility. Chapter 3. The Grandmother's Secret. Morning brought sunlight through frost-etched windows, patterns I'd apparently created in my sleep. I traced them with one finger, watching ice crystals form and melt under my touch. Outside, voices drifted up, pack members going about their morning routines. A soft knock preceded Elena's entrance. Kieran wants to see you. And before you panic, it's good news. Well, shocking news. Possibly good. My stomach tightened. What kind of shocking? The kind you need to hear from him. She held out casual clothes, jeans, a soft sweater. Come on. He's in his office, and he's not alone. The walk through the pack house revealed a lived-in warmth I'd never experienced. Photos on walls, mismatched furniture, laughter from the kitchen. Pack members nodded to me without suspicion or judgment, just curiosity and welcome. Kieran's office door stood open. He sat behind a desk covered in open books, but my attention locked on the woman sitting across from him. Silver white hair, elegant even in simple clothes, eyes the exact shade of hazel as mine. I knew her face from old photographs, from memories 6 months buried. Grandmother? The word came out strangled. She stood, moving toward me with impossible grace. Hello, little moon. I know you have questions. You're dead. I went to your funeral. I watched them bury. My voice broke. How? Magic. She gestured to the frost spreading from my feet. The same magic now waking in you. Sit, Luna. This will take some explaining. I collapsed into a chair, unable to look away from her. She looked younger somehow, more vibrant than I remembered. Kieran quietly closed the door, giving us privacy. My name is Morgana Winters, though I've used many names across many years. She settled across from me. I didn't die 6 months ago, Luna. I staged my death to protect you. Protect me from what? From them discovering you before you were ready. She reached out, and when her fingers touched mine, frost danced between us, recognizing kindred power. Our bloodline doesn't come from minor pack wolves. It comes from the moon witch lines, ancient magic that predates the pack system itself. Magic the council has spent centuries trying to eliminate. The room felt too small, too hot despite the cold radiating from my skin. Why would they want to eliminate magic? Because they can't control it. Kieran spoke quietly from his desk. The council built their power on bloodlines, territories, politics. Magic disrupts that order. A wolf who can freeze armies doesn't need their protection or their approval. Morgana nodded. I've lived for 200 years, Luna, hiding my true nature, moving between packs. When your mother was born, my only child, I hoped the magic had skipped her. She lived a normal life, mated your father, had you. I thought we were safe. But I inherited it. More than inherited. You have the potential to surpass even me. Pride warmed her voice. The magic usually manifests around 21, triggered by strong emotion. I knew your mate ceremony would be the catalyst, so I planned to be gone before it happened. If I'd stayed, they would have connected us, realized what you were. Marcus rejected me. The words still hurt to say. Is that why? Did he know? No, child. He's just a fool who values the wrong things. She squeezed my hands. But his rejection likely intensified your manifestation. The pain, the betrayal, those emotions are powerful triggers. I pulled back, standing to pace. Frost followed my path. So what now? I hide like you did. Pretend to be ordinary. That's one option. Morgana's tone said she didn't recommend it. Or you learn to control it, master it, become what you were meant to be. And paint a target on my back? The target's already there, Kieran interjected. Magic this powerful doesn't stay hidden. The council has hunters, wolves trained to sense supernatural abilities. They'll find you eventually. Then I need to be ready. The decision crystallized as I spoke. Can you teach me? Morgana smiled, fierce and proud. I was hoping you'd say that. But understand, Luna, this path is dangerous. The council doesn't just eliminate magical wolves, they make examples of them. If we do this, we do it properly, and we do it here, where Kieran's pack can provide protection. I looked at him. You'd risk your pack for me? I'd risk my pack for what's right. His gaze held steady. Besides, Elena's already claimed you as her new project, and I value my life too much to argue with her. A surprised laugh escaped me. When do we start? Now. Morgana stood, vital and commanding. There's a clearing north of the pack house, old stones marking ancient ground. The magic will be stronger there. Kieran, we'll need the space secured. No interruptions. Already done. He'd planned this, I realized. Prepared for my answer before I'd given it. Take all the time you need. The clearing was exactly as Morgana described, a perfect circle of standing stones, worn smooth by centuries. Morning mist clung to the ground, and the moment I stepped between the stones, power thrummed through me. The frost around my fingers intensified. This place remembers, Morgana said softly. Long ago, moon witches gathered here, practiced their craft under the full moon. The stones hold echoes of that power. She moved to the circle's center. Come, stand with me. I joined her, and she took my hands. Close your eyes. Feel the cold inside you, not as something foreign, but as part of who you are. Your wolf, your magic, your soul. They're all connected. I tried, but panic fluttered in my chest. What if I can't control it? What if you can? She squeezed my hands. Fear will make the magic chaotic. Acceptance will make it beautiful. Now breathe with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel the winter inside you. We breathed together, and gradually, the frantic energy calmed. I felt it then, the magic wasn't attacking me. It was trying to express something, trying to communicate. With each exhale, frost spread more evenly, more deliberately. With each inhale, I pulled it back, concentrating it. Good, Morgana murmured. Now open your eyes, but keep breathing. See what you're creating. I looked down. Frost spread from our joined hands in perfect spirals, geometric patterns that echoed the standing stone's placement. Snowflakes formed in the air around us, each one unique, none of them chaotic. Beautiful. This is control? I whispered, afraid to break the spell. This is the beginning. She released one hand, gesturing. Frost followed her motion, swirling upward into a column of dancing ice crystals. Ice remembers, Luna. It holds shape, preserves what matters, protects what's precious. Your magic reflects who you are inside, strong, beautiful, capable of incredible things. I tried to mimic her gesture. My frost lurched awkwardly, then steadied, forming a smaller column beside hers. Not as elegant, but mine. Controlled. Morgana laughed, delighted. Yes. Again. Feel the intention, then let the magic follow. We practiced for hours, until sweat and frost covered me in equal measure. Creating shapes, dispersing them, pulling the cold back inside when it spread too far. By the time Kieran appeared with water and food, I could form a solid ice sphere and hold it for a full minute before it melted. Impressive, he said, watching me practice. How does it feel? Like finding something I didn't know was missing. I let the sphere dissolve, frost evaporating into mist. Grandmother, Why did our ancestors hide this? It's incredible. Her expression darkened. Because incredible power makes people afraid, and fear makes them dangerous. The council started as peacekeepers, but over time, they became controllers. They convinced wolves that magic was corruption, that only pure bloodlines should lead. They hunted us, little moon. They'll hunt you too, if they learn what you're becoming. Let them come. The words surprised me with their vehemence. I'm tired of hiding, of being less than what I am to make others comfortable. Kieran and Morgana exchanged glances. Strong words, he said carefully. But the council has resources, wolves, and centuries of political power. And I have magic they can't imagine. I met his eyes. Marcus rejected me because I was ordinary. The council will try to eliminate me because I'm not. Either way, I lose by trying to be acceptable to them. I looked at my frost-covered hands. Maybe it's time to stop caring about their approval. Morgana's smile was fierce and approving. There's the moon which I've been waiting to meet. Come, let's go again. If you're going to challenge the established order, you'll need more than pretty ice sculptures. We returned to the circle, but this time, Morgana pushed harder. Faster movements, more complex shapes, teaching me to split my focus between multiple manifestations. Ice spears, barriers, even freezing the morning mist solid enough to walk on. I failed more than I succeeded, but each failure taught me something. The magic responded to emotion. Anger made it sharp and wild. Determination made it strong and focused. Joy made it dance and shimmer like snow in sunlight. By late afternoon, exhausted and exhilarated, I created my first intentional snowstorm, just within the circle, controlled and beautiful. Kieran, watching from outside the stones, shook his head in wonder. In one day, you've gone from accidental frost to deliberate weather control. At this rate, in a month you'll be creating blizzards. That's the plan, Morgana said, but concern shadowed her eyes. Word will spread, Kieran. Pack members will talk, visitors will see. We need to be ready for when the council comes asking questions. They'll have to go through me first. His voice held alpha authority, absolute and unwavering. And I'm not easily moved. I looked between them, my grandmother who'd lived centuries hiding, and this alpha who'd known me one day but stood ready to fight for me. Something warm and painful squeezed my chest. Thank you, I said quietly. Both of you. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but... You survived, Elena said, appearing from the trees with towels and a knowing grin. You survived rejection, manifested impossible magic, and kept going. That's what you did to deserve it. She tossed me a towel. Now come on. Some of us want to see this ice magic up close, and I promised the pack dinner and a show. Elena, Kieran warned. What? She needs to know they accept her, and they're dying of curiosity. Might as well make it official. I looked at Morgana, who nodded. She's right. Better to control the narrative than let rumors spread. Besides, she grinned, I want to show off my granddaughter. That evening, in the pack house great room, I stood before 27 curious wolves and deliberately formed snowflakes in my palm. They erupted into excited questions, requests for demonstrations, and speculation about what it meant. No fear, no judgment, just acceptance. And for the first time since Marcus rejected me in that white dress, I felt like maybe I belonged somewhere after all. Chapter 4, Training Montage. 3 weeks passed in a blur of ice, instruction, and integration. Morgana pushed me hard, but Kieran's pack provided unexpected support. Elena joined our training sessions, teaching me how to use ice magic in combat. A young wolf named Jamie, who could sense emotional energy, helped me understand how feelings shaped my manifestations. But it was the small moments that changed me most. Morning coffee with Kieran, discussing pack business while Frost decorated my mug in unconscious patterns. Evenings helping in the communal kitchen, learning to create ice sculptures for the pups' entertainment. Late nights in the library, Morgana sharing stories of moon witches who'd reshaped history from the shadows. I grew stronger, not just magically but fundamentally. The broken girl who'd fled the Blackwood territory was transforming into something else entirely. Again, Morgana commanded from across the training circle. We'd moved beyond basic shapes to combat applications. 3 spears, simultaneous launch, different targets. I breathed deep, feeling the winter inside me coil like a spring. Then released it. 3 spears of solid ice materialized and shot forward, striking the wooden posts we'd set up with satisfying cracks. Better, but you're still thinking too much. She gestured, and her own ice spears formed from ambient moisture, striking targets I hadn't even noticed. The magic should flow like breathing. Instinct, not calculation. I'm trying. Don't try. Do. She softened, walking over. You're afraid of your own power, little moon. Afraid you'll lose control, hurt someone. But fear creates the very chaos you're trying to avoid. I looked at my hands, now constantly shimmering with frost. What if she's right to be afraid? Kieran spoke from the edge of the circle, where he'd been watching. Power without fear becomes tyranny. Fear and respect are different things. Morgana turned to him. Luna respects her magic. She understands its potential for destruction. But she's letting old voices, Marcus's voice, convince her she's dangerous rather than powerful. His words still echoed sometimes. Ordinary. Weak. Not enough. I'm not weak, I said quietly, then louder. I'm not. Prove it. Elena jogged into the clearing, excitement bright in her eyes. Marcus is here. At the border. Demanding to see you. My heart stuttered. What? Showed up an hour ago with 2 Blackwood wolves. Says he needs to speak with you urgently. Something about the council asking questions. Elena's expression turned fierce. Want me to send him away? No. The word came out harder than intended. I'll see him. Morgana caught my arm. Luna, you don't owe him anything. I know, but I'm tired of running from things that scare me. I met her eyes. Isn't that what you've been teaching me? To face things head on. With ice magic, yes. With emotionally manipulative ex-mates. She sighed. At least let me come with you. We walked to the border together, Morgana, Kieran, Elena, and me. Marcus waited on the other side of the territorial line, and my traitorous heart clenched at the sight of him. Tall, handsome, everything I'd wanted for 21 years. Everything that had rejected me. He looked haggard though, shadows under his eyes, tension in his shoulders. When he saw me, something complicated crossed his face. Luna, thank God. You're safe. Why wouldn't I be? I kept my voice level, proud of its steadiness. Because the council is asking about you. About your grandmother. His gaze flicked to Morgana, widening in shock. You're supposed to be dead. Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated, she said dryly. What does the council want? They received reports of ice magic manifesting near the border between our territories. They're sending investigators. His attention returned to me, desperate now. Luna, you need to come back. Let me protect you. We can say it was a mistake, that I was hasty. You rejected me. The words came out flat. Publicly. Deliberately. Because I was ordinary and offered no political advantage. I was wrong. He stepped forward, and Kieran growled low in warning. Marcus stopped. I was wrong, Luna. The bond, it's been killing me. Please, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix. I raised my hand, letting frost dance across my fingers. You were right about one thing, Marcus. I was ordinary. Acceptable. Safe. Ice crystals formed in the air around me, catching sunlight. You wanted extraordinary? Powerful? Here I am. And you can't have me. His face paled. You're a moon witch. She's under my protection, Kieran said firmly. And she's staying in my territory. If the council has questions, they can direct them to me. You don't understand what you're risking. Marcus looked between us, something like jealousy sharpening his features. The council doesn't negotiate with magical bloodlines. They eliminate them. Then they'll have to eliminate me too, Morgana said calmly. And I've survived 2 centuries of their attempts. I think we'll manage. Luna, please. Marcus tried once more. Let me help you. We're still mates, the bond. The bond you rejected? I let ice spread from my feet toward him, stopping just at the border. You made your choice, Marcus. You chose politics and power, and Sarah Redmayne. Live with it. Sarah and I aren't. We haven't. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. It was supposed to be political. She understands that. I don't care. And I realized, speaking the words, that I meant them. I don't care about your politics or your regrets. You showed me who you were when you rejected me in front of everyone. I believe you now. Elena slow-clapped from behind me. Beautiful. Poetry. Now get lost, Blackwood. You're trespassing on our territorial patience. Marcus's jaw tightened. When the council comes, and they will come, don't say I didn't warn you. He turned away, then paused. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. Sorry you rejected me, or sorry I'm not suffering anymore. I let the ice creep further. Go home, Marcus. Marry Sarah. Be the political alpha you wanted to be. Just leave me out of it. We watched him leave, his 2 companions flanking him. The moment they disappeared into the trees, my knees went weak. Kieran caught me, steadying. Breathe, he murmured. You're safe. Did that really just happen? I looked at Morgana. Did I really just tell off my former mate while doing casual ice magic? She laughed, proud and fierce. You did, little moon. And you were magnificent. He's right about one thing though, Kieran said seriously. The council will come. We need to prepare. Then we prepare. I straightened, finding strength I hadn't known I possessed. Let them come. I'm done hiding what I am to make others comfortable. Elena hooped. That's my girl. Now, can we please work on turning that casual ice display into actual combat applications? Because when the council shows up, I want you able to freeze them solid. Elena, Kieran warned. What? I'm being practical. We returned to the training circle, but something had shifted. Where before I'd been tentative, afraid of my power, now I attacked the exercises with determination. Marcus's appearance had crystallized something. I wasn't running anymore. I wasn't hiding. I was preparing for war. Chapter 5, The Trial. They're here. Jamie burst into the pack house 3 days later, breathless from running. Council representatives. 5 of them, official investigation team. I looked up from the book I'd been studying. Ancient texts Morgana had produced detailing Moon Witch history. Kieran set down his coffee with careful precision. Already? That was fast. Marcus must have reported immediately. Elena appeared from the kitchen, already armed. What do you want to do? We follow protocol. Kieran stood, authority settling over him like a cloak. They have the right to investigate reported magic usage. But they do it on my terms, in my territory. Morgana touched my shoulder. Remember your training. Control, not chaos. Precision, not panic. I remember. My hands remained steady, frost swirling lazily around my fingers. Let's get this over with. The council representatives waited in the formal meeting area, 5 wolves radiating authority and judgment. Elder Crane led them, his weathered face impassive. I recognized another from pack gatherings, but the others were strangers. All of them studied me with cold assessment. Luna Winters. Elder Crane's voice held no warmth. We received reports of illegal magic manifestation in this territory. Reports that you were involved. Magic isn't illegal, Kieran said coolly. Ancient, rare, but not illegal. Unregistered magical bloodlines are absolutely illegal. A younger council member stepped forward, ambitious hunger in his eyes. The accords are clear. All supernatural abilities must be registered and monitored. Accords written by wolves terrified of what they couldn't control, Morgana said, materializing from the shadows behind me. Hello, Crane. Been a while. He actually stumbled backward. Morgana Winters. You're dead? Clearly not. She moved to stand beside me. My granddaughter has Moon Witch blood inherited through me. We're not registering anything with your council. Then you're in violation. Of what? Laws designed to eliminate our kind. Her voice cut like ice. I was there when you wrote those accords, Crane. I watched you and your predecessors systematically hunt down every magical bloodline you could find. You dressed it up as protection, as order, but it was always about control. The council exists to maintain stability. The council exists to maintain power. I spoke for the first time, surprised by the strength in my voice. You're afraid of wolves you can't dominate, so you eliminate them or force them into hiding. The ambitious one smiled, sharp and predatory. If you're so powerful, Miss Winters, prove it. Demonstrate this control you claim to have. That's enough, Vance. Elder Crane shot him a warning look. We're here to assess, not provoke. I'm not afraid to demonstrate. I stepped forward, feeling Kieran's protective instinct flare beside me. But let's be clear about what this is. You're not here to assess whether I have control. You're here to find an excuse to eliminate me. We're here to ensure pack safety, Crane said. Magic without discipline is dangerous. Then watch. I raised my hands, letting the cold flow through me with the ease of 3 weeks intensive training. Frost spiraled upward, forming intricate patterns in the air, a wolf mid-leap, perfect in every detail, frozen in crystal clarity. Then I let it dissolve, reforming into 5 individual snowflakes, each unique, each hovering before one of the council members. Discipline enough for you? I asked quietly. Vance's eyes gleamed with something darker than assessment. Impressive. Now prove you can control it under pressure. Before anyone could react, he shifted, his wolf form lunging toward Jamie, who stood at the room's edge. Instinct overrode thought. Ice erupted from the floor, a barrier solid and impenetrable, stopping Vance mid-leap. He slammed into it with a yelp, falling back in a sprawl. The barrier held, perfectly smooth, not a crack or weakness visible. Touch anyone in this pack, I said, voice hard as winter, and I'll freeze you solid enough to shatter. Silence descended, broken only by Vance shifting back, fury and shame warring on his face. Elder Crane stared at the barrier, then at me. That was controlled. Completely controlled, despite provocation. He sounded almost disappointed. She passed your test. Kieran's voice could have cut glass. Now get out of my territory before I forget council protocols and throw you out myself. This isn't over, Vance spat, nursing his bruised ego. The council will want her registered, monitored. The council can want whatever they like. Morgana stepped forward, and the temperature in the room plummeted. Frost spread across every surface, intricate and deadly beautiful. But they'll have to go through me first. And I've had 2 centuries to perfect what Luna's just learning. The 5 council members exchanged glances, calculation clear in their expressions. They were outnumbered, outmatched, and they knew it. We'll file our report, Elder Crane said finally. Expect further inquiry. Looking forward to it. Elena held the door open, her smile all teeth. Don't let the border hit you on the way out. We watched them leave in tense silence. Only when they'd crossed into neutral territory did I let the ice barrier dissolve, exhaustion crashing over me. That went well, I said weakly, then laughed at the absurdity. They're definitely coming back with reinforcements, aren't they? Absolutely. Kieran caught me as I swayed. But you bought us time. Proved you're not a danger to yourself or others. Just to ambitious council members who attack teenagers to make a point. Elena was already on her phone. I'm calling in favors. We need allies, information on what the council's planning. Morgana cupped my face, searching my eyes. How do you feel? Like I just declared war on the most powerful political body in the wolf world. I took a shaky breath. And like I'd do it again. Good. She kissed my forehead. Because war is exactly what's coming, Little Moon. The question is whether we're ready to fight it. Chapter 6, Recognition. The days following the council's visit were tense but productive. Elena's contacts reported increased council activity, meetings, calls to allied packs, discussions of the Ice Witch problem. We prepared accordingly, but it was the quieter moments that shifted something fundamental inside me. Kieran started joining my morning training sessions, not just watching but participating. His wolf form was magnificent, dark silver, powerful, alpha dominance in every line. He'd run the perimeter while I practiced, always within sight, a protective presence that made my wolf purr contentedly. You don't have to babysit me, I said one morning, forming ice sculptures with increasing ease. I'm not babysitting. He shifted back, gloriously unself-conscious in his nakedness before pulling on the clothes he'd left nearby. I'm enjoying the view. Heat flooded my cheeks. Over the past weeks, I'd tried not to notice how attractive he was. The lean muscle, the dark hair that fell into storm-gray eyes, the way he moved with predatory grace. Tried and failed. The ice sculptures? I managed. Those too. His smile was genuine, warm in a way that made my heart skip. You've grown so much, Luna. Not just in power, but in confidence. It's remarkable to witness. I had good teachers. I let the sculpture dissolve. And a safe place to fail. Is that what this pack is to you? A safe place? The question held weight beyond the words. I met his eyes, seeing genuine curiosity and something deeper, more complex. It's starting to feel like home. Good. He moved closer, and I caught his scent, pine and winter air, wild and somehow right. Because I'd like you to stay. Not just until the council situation resolves. After. My breath caught. Kieran. I know it's fast. He stopped an arm's length away, respecting my space even as his eyes held mine. I know you're still healing from Marcus's rejection. But I need you to know that when I look at you, I don't see someone ordinary or weak or anything else he saw. I see strength, grace, power used with compassion. I see someone I'd be honored to have in my pack, in my life, for as long as you'll allow. That sounds like... I couldn't finish the sentence, afraid of what it meant. Like I'm falling for you? He smiled, gentle and devastating. Because I am. But I'm not asking for anything, Luna. Not now. I just needed you to know that the option exists. When and if you're ready. Before I could respond, Elena's voice carried across the clearing. Hate to interrupt whatever's happening here, but we've got incoming. 3 vehicles, council insignia, and they don't look friendly. The moment shattered. Kieran's expression hardened, alpha authority replacing vulnerability. How many? At least 15 wolves, plus whatever's in the 3rd vehicle. They're not bothering with pretense this time. Get everyone to the pack house. He turned to me. Luna, you don't have to face them. We can. I'm done hiding. I called Frost to my hands, letting it spiral up my arms. Besides, running just delays the inevitable. Better to face them here, on our terms. Morgana appeared from the trees, power radiating from her. They brought an enforcement team. This isn't investigation anymore, Kieran. They're here to take her by force if necessary. Then they're going to be disappointed. He looked at me, and I saw not just attraction but respect, partnership. Your choice, Luna. Fight or flight? I thought of Marcus, of the white dress and public rejection. Of 3 weeks spent discovering I was more than anyone had told me. Of Kieran's quiet support and Elena's fierce friendship and Morgana's return from the dead guidance. Fight. The word came out steady. But smart. We show them control, precision. Prove I'm not the danger they want me to be. And if they attack anyway? I smiled, cold and certain. Then we show them why attacking ice witches is a really bad idea. We positioned ourselves at the pack house entrance, a united front. Kieran in the center, Alpha and Absolute. Morgana and I flanking him, Frost already swirling. Elena and her best warriors spread behind us, ready but not aggressive. The council vehicles stopped at our border. 15 wolves emerged, all enforcement team, trained fighters, enhanced with whatever technology the council hoarded. And from the third vehicle, Elder Crane and 2 others I didn't recognize. Kieran Frost. Crane's voice carried across the distance. We have a warrant for Luna Winters' detainment pending full council evaluation. I don't recognize your authority to issue warrants for wolves under my protection. Kieran's voice held alpha command that made even the enforcement team hesitate. Luna Winters is a member of my pack, registered with regional authorities and under my jurisdiction. She's an unregistered magical threat. She's a wolf who manifested inherited abilities and demonstrated perfect control under evaluation. Kieran gestured to me. Your own investigator witnessed it 3 days ago. Vance was attacked. Vance attacked a minor to provoke me, and I defended my packmate with exactly the amount of force necessary. No more, no less. I stepped forward. That's control, Elder Crane. That's discipline. Everything you claim to care about. One of the strangers spoke up, a woman with cold authority. Control can be faked. The council has methods of thorough evaluation. You mean torture? Morgana's voice cut through rising tension. The evaluation chambers in council headquarters, where magical wolves go in and never come out. We know what you do, counselor. We've always known. The woman's expression didn't change. Extreme abilities require extreme caution. Then demonstrate. I raised my hands and Frost spiraled upward, forming a massive wolf, twice the size of a real one, perfect in crystalline detail. It stood between our groups, neither threatening nor submissive. Just present. Powerful. Watch. I'll hold this form for 1 hour without movement, variation, or loss of control. If I can't, I'll submit to your evaluation. If I can, you leave and don't return without actual cause. Luna, Kieran started. It's fair. I met his eyes, seeing worry and pride warring. Trust me. He searched my face, then nodded once. 1 hour. You have witnesses on both sides. The next hour was the longest of my life. Holding the ice construct required constant focus, feeling every microscopic shift, correcting without conscious thought. Sweat beaded on my forehead despite the cold I generated. My arms ached. My legs trembled. But the ice wolf stood perfect and still. The council representatives watched, timing it precisely. Their enforcement team grew restless, then bored, then visibly uncomfortable with the display of sustained power. Even Crane looked disturbed. When the hour ended, Elena's timer chiming clearly, I let the construct dissolve slowly, beautifully, into snow that fell like blessing across the ground. Control enough for you? My voice came out steady despite exhaustion. The cold counselor studied me with new calculation. Impressive, but isolated displays don't guarantee future stability. Nothing guarantees the future. Kieran moved to my side, steadying me with a hand on my elbow. But Luna has demonstrated more discipline in 3 weeks than most wolves show in a lifetime. Your warrant is baseless, your evaluation unnecessary. Leave my territory, or I'll file a formal complaint with the Regional Alliance about harassment. Crane and the counselor exchanged long looks. Finally, Crane spoke. We'll withdraw. For now. But understand, Miss Winters, the council is watching. Any loss of control, any public incident, and we will return. I'll try to contain my terror. The sarcasm slipped out before I could stop it. Elena snorted behind me. Even Kieran's lips twitched. The council team withdrew, but their departure felt less like victory and more like postponement. We watched until their vehicles disappeared. Then I collapsed, Kieran catching me before I hit the ground. "Got you," he murmured. "You were incredible." I was terrified. I laughed weakly against his chest. "But I did it." "You did more than that." Morgana crouched beside us, pride glowing in her ancient eyes. "You just bought us credibility, time, and most importantly, you proved that moon witches aren't mindless threats. You gave them pause. And pissed them off," Elena added cheerfully. "Which is always a bonus." Kieran lifted me easily, carrying me toward the pack house. "Rest now. We'll handle the aftermath." But I caught his shirt, stopping him. "Kieran, what you said earlier. About falling for me." His eyes searched mine, careful. "You don't have to respond. I meant what I said, no pressure." "I know. But I need you to know." I took a breath, finding courage. "I'm falling too. Probably have been since you found me by that stream. And it terrifies me more than the council ever could." His smile was sunrise after long darkness. "Well, that's inconvenient timing." "Terrible," I agreed. "Guess we'll just have to survive the council situation, so we can properly explore this terrifying falling thing." "Guess so." He kissed my forehead, gentle and promising, and carried me inside while Elena made retching sounds behind us and Morgana laughed like bells. And I thought, this is what home feels like. Beautiful soul, if you're feeling the pull of this journey, if Luna's transformation is stirring something in your own heart, then subscribe now, because what's coming next will test everything she's learned. The real battle hasn't even begun, and you won't want to miss a single moment of what happens when the council returns with their full force. Hit that subscribe button, and let's walk together into the storm that's gathering on the horizon. Chapter 7, The Bond. Recovery took 2 days. Holding that ice construct had drained me more than I'd admitted, but Kieran's pack rallied with casual care, bringing meals, keeping watch, giving me space when needed and company when wanted. On the 3rd morning, I woke to find Kieran sitting by the window, watching sunrise paint the sky in amber and rose. "Couldn't sleep?" I asked softly. He turned, surprise and pleasure warming his features. "Didn't want to disturb you. How do you feel?" "Better. Restless." I sat up, drawing the blanket around me. "Kieran, about what I said. Do you regret it?" "No, but I'm scared I'll mess this up. That I'm rebounding, using you to heal from Marcus." He moved to sit on the bed's edge, keeping careful distance. "Are you?" I examined my feelings honestly, the warmth when I saw him, the security of his presence, the way my wolf purred contentedly around him. "I don't think so. What I feel for you is different. With Marcus, it was all desperation and destiny, this feeling that I needed him to be complete. With you I feel enhanced. Better, but still whole on my own. That's how it should be." His hand reached out, palm up, offering. "Luna, I need you to understand something. What happened to my parents, watching true mates destroy each other, it taught me that destiny isn't enough. Choice matters. Commitment matters. I don't want you because some cosmic force said we're meant to be together. I want you because you're brave and powerful and kind despite every reason not to be." I took his hand, feeling warmth and rightness. "How do we know this is real and not just proximity during crisis?" "We don't. Not for certain." His thumb traced circles on my palm. "But I'd like to find out. When the council situation settles, when you've had time to fully heal, I'd like to explore what this could be. Slowly. Carefully. With full consent on both sides." "That sounds..." My words cut off as my wolf surged forward, recognition blazing through me. The mate bond, genuine and unmistakable, snapping into place between us. "Oh." Kieran's eyes widened, feeling it too. "That's not possible. We're not... I mean, you were already mated to." "Secondary bond." Morgana spoke from the doorway, apologetic about the interruption, but clearly having sensed the shift. "It happens sometimes, little moon. When a primary mate bond is rejected, the soul can form new connections. Rarer than primary bonds, but often stronger because they're built on choice rather than just destiny." I stared at Kieran, feeling the bond hum between us, bright, warm, nothing like the cold duty I'd felt with Marcus. "Is this okay? I know you didn't want." "Luna." He cupped my face gently. "I've been half in love with you since I found you by that stream. If the moon wants to make it official, I'm not arguing. But your parents died because one bond was forced and the other was real, and they tried to make both work." His eyes held mine, serious and certain. "This is real. This is choice. And I choose you if you'll have me. My wolf sang with joy, but I needed to be sure. We take it slow anyway. Build the foundation properly. Whatever pace you need. He leaned forward, stopping just before his lips met mine. May I? Yes. The kiss was gentle, careful, and absolutely electric. The mate bond flared between us, recognition and promise and possibility, all wrapped in warmth. When we parted, frost and snowflakes danced around us, my magic responding to pure happiness. Morgana laughed from the doorway. Happy magic. Beautiful little moon. Now get dressed, both of you. The council won't care that you've just discovered secondary mate bonds. We need to continue training, especially since this changes things. How? I asked, reluctantly pulling away from Kieran. Mate bonds can amplify magical abilities when both partners consciously share power. If Kieran learns to channel his alpha energy through your connection, you could potentially double your effective strength. She grinned. Want to find out? We spent the morning in the training circle, exploring the new dynamic. Kieran sat behind me, hands on my shoulders, learning to sense my magic and feed his own energy into it. The first successful attempt created a blizzard that covered the entire clearing in minutes. Holy, he released me, staring. That was you. Us. Combined. I turned in his arms, breathless with excitement. Morgana, this is incredible. This is dangerous. Her expression had turned serious. The council has devices, bond breakers they're called. Technology designed to sever mate connections, usually as punishment. If they learn you formed a secondary bond, especially one that amplifies your power, they'll target it. Try to break you apart or use the bond against you. The joy dimmed. Can they? Break secondary bonds. I've never seen it tested. Primary bonds, yes, painful, destructive, but possible. Secondary bonds are so rare, I don't know if their technology works the same way. She looked between us. I'm not saying don't pursue this, but be aware of the risks. Kieran's arms tightened around me. Let them try. They'll find I'm not easily separated from what's mine. I'm not. I started to protest the possessiveness, then stopped, feeling his amusement through the bond. You're teasing me. Mostly. But I meant what I said. You're under my protection, my partner by choice and by bond. The council will have to go through me. And me, Elena called from beyond the circle. And the rest of us. Stop being dramatic and get back to training. If you can make blizzards together, I want to see what else you can do. We trained for hours, discovering the bond's potential. Separately, I could freeze a 6-foot radius. Together, we could cover half an acre. Separately, my ice constructs lasted minutes. Together, they could persist for an hour or more. It's not just power amplification, Morgana observed. It's efficiency. His energy stabilizes yours, reduces the effort required to maintain manifestations. In a prolonged fight, that's the difference between exhaustion and victory. Then we train with it. Kieran stood, pulling me up with him. Because the council isn't done, and when they come back, they'll bring everything they have. He was right, of course. That night, Elena's contacts reported disturbing news. The council was assembling a specialized team, wolves and technology specifically designed to contain magical threats. They were calling it Operation Frostbreak. How long until they move? Kieran asked, studying the reports. Days. Maybe a week. Elena looked grim. They're being thorough this time. Whatever they're planning, it's meant to be permanent. I looked at the gathered pack, 27 wolves who'd accepted me without question, who'd stood against council pressure, who now faced genuine danger because I existed. Maybe I should leave. Draw them away from you. No. Kieran's voice held alpha command. We don't abandon pack. She's not pack, Morgana said quietly. Not officially. Luna, you'd need to formally accept Kieran as your alpha and join the Frost Moon Pack to have full protection under pack law. Everyone turned to look at me. The choice suddenly crystallized. Stay peripheral, maintain the ability to leave, or commit fully to this place, these wolves, this alpha who'd become so much more. What happens if I say yes? I asked. To the council, I mean. You become an internal pack matter, Kieran explained. They can pressure me to control you, but they can't detain you without charging the entire pack with harboring a criminal. It raises the stakes considerably. It also declares where we stand, Elena added. Right now, we're giving you sanctuary. If you join, we're actively choosing to oppose council policy. There's no ambiguity. I thought of the white dress, the rejection, the girl who'd fled broken and alone. Then I thought of the woman I'd become. Powerful, confident, surrounded by wolves who valued her for exactly who she was. I accept. I met Kieran's eyes, then addressed the room. I accept Kieran Frost as my alpha and formally request membership in the Frost Moon Pack. The traditional words hung in air charged with significance. Kieran moved forward, and I knew what came next, the marking where an alpha's bite sealed pack membership. Usually just a formality. But with our bond, this would be more. "You're sure?" he murmured, low enough only I could hear. "Completely." He struck quickly, teeth finding the juncture of my neck and shoulder. The bite should have hurt, but instead, power flooded through me, his alpha energy mixing with my magic, the mate bond flaring bright enough that frost and snowflakes erupted around us in a spontaneous display. When he released me, I felt fundamentally different. Pack. Bonded. Home. The gathered wolves howled their welcome, and I tipped my head back, joining them, my voice mixing with theirs in a song as old as the moon herself. Let the council come. I had a pack now, a mate, and power they couldn't imagine. I was done running. Chapter 8, The Storm Gathers. Word of my pack acceptance spread quickly. Too quickly. Within 24 hours, we received formal notice. The council was demanding Kieran appear before them to answer charges of harboring dangerous magical elements. "They're trying to separate us," Morgana said, studying the summons. "Get Kieran away from the territory, so their team can move on Luna without alpha protection." "Then I don't go." Kieran tossed the notice aside. "They can charge me in absentia if they want, which gives them justification to strip your alpha status and seize your territory." Elena paced, agitated. "It's a trap either way. You go, they keep you there. You don't go, they have legal grounds to invade." I watched them argue strategy, feeling the weight of my decision settling heavier. These wolves were risking everything because I existed, because I refused to submit to council control. "There's another option," I said quietly. Everyone stopped, turning to me. "I prove I'm not a threat in a way they can't dispute. A public demonstration, witnessed by multiple packs, showing perfect control and beneficial use of my abilities." "They'll never agree to public demonstration," Elena protested. "Too many witnesses to their tactics." Then we forced the issue. I looked at Kieran. "The autumn gathering is in 3 days, right? When all the regional packs meet for territory negotiations and alliance discussions." His eyes widened, understanding my plan. "You want to demonstrate there? In front of everyone?" "I want to change the narrative. Right now the council controls the story, Ice Witch dangerous, uncontrolled. But if I show up at the gathering, offer my abilities to help with something publicly beneficial, and execute perfectly." I met his gaze, seeing resistance and reluctant admiration warring. "They can't detain me in front of 50 packs without looking like tyrants. They can make your life hell afterward," Morgana warned. "They're already doing that." Kieran studied me for a long moment. "If we do this, we do it right. Full pack support, strategic positioning, backup plans for every contingency." He looked at Elena. "Can you get us an invitation? The gathering's technically open to all packs. We've attended before." She grinned, fierce and approving. "They can't exclude us without breaking their own protocols. I'll make the arrangements." The next 3 days were intense preparation. Morgana drilled me relentlessly on control exercises, pushing me to maintain focus under distraction, pressure, and fatigue. Elena taught me combat applications, how to defend without escalating to lethal force. Kieran and I practiced our bond connection, learning to share power smoothly, naturally. And at night, in the quiet hours, Kieran and I explored what it meant to be mates, not just the physical pull, but the emotional intimacy of knowing someone's mind, feeling their presence even rooms away. "I can sense your anxiety," he murmured one night, holding me close. "You don't have to do this, Luna. We can find another way." "There is no other way." I traced patterns on his chest, my fingers leaving frost trails that made him shiver. "The council will never stop seeing me as a threat until I prove otherwise on terms that can't be disputed. And if I'm going to live openly, use my magic freely, I need public acceptance, not just pack protection." "When did you become so strategic?" His tone was teasing, but pride colored it. "When I realized I had something worth fighting for." I kissed him softly. "This pack, this bond, this life, I won't let them take it away." The autumn gathering was held on neutral ground, a massive clearing marked by ancient trees and standing stones. Wolves from 50 packs filled the space, alphas, betas, warriors, representatives from every corner of the region. The council presided from a raised platform, elder crane front and center. When the Frost Moon Pack arrived, silence rippled outward. Every eye found me, recognition and rumor colliding. I wore simple clothes, nothing ceremonial or flashy, my confidence the only decoration needed. "They're staring," I murmured to Kieran. "Let them." His hand found mine. "You're magnificent." Marcus was there too, standing with the Blackwood pack, Sarah at his side wearing a Luna's traditional adornment. Our eyes met across the crowd, and I felt nothing but distant pity. He'd chosen political comfort over genuine connection. His loss my gain. Elder Crane called the gathering to order, running through standard business, territory disputes, resource negotiations, alliance formations. I waded through it all, patient and poised. Finally, during open forum, Kieran stood. "I have a matter to present." His voice carried alpha authority. "There's been considerable discussion about magical bloodlines and their place in our society. My pack has recently accepted a member with Moon Witch heritage, and there's been concern about control and safety." He gestured to me. "Luna Winters would like to demonstrate that magic, properly trained, is a gift rather than a threat." Murmurs erupted. Crane's face darkened. "This is highly irregular." "The forum is open," another alpha called out. "Let her speak." I stood, moving to the center of the gathering space. 50 packs, hundreds of wolves, all watching. My heart pounded, but my hands remained steady. I was rejected by my destined mate for being ordinary. I began, my voice clear. "Weak bloodline, no political value, nothing special. For 21 years, I believed that about myself. Then my magic manifested, and suddenly I was too dangerous, too powerful, a threat requiring council intervention. I let frost swirl around my hands. But magic isn't good or evil. It's a tool like strength or speed or intelligence. What matters is how we use it." I raised my hands, and ice spiraled upward, not threatening but beautiful. A massive sculpture formed above the gathering, wolves running together under a full moon, pack in unity captured in crystalline detail. Gasps echoed across the space. "This is control," I said, holding the form steady. "This is discipline. This is what moon witches can offer: beauty, protection, strength used with purpose." I let the sculpture shift, reforming into a barrier around the standing stones. Defense for those who need it. Another shift, becoming delicate ice flowers that floated down across the gathering. Art and joy. Finally, I pulled it all back, the ice dissolving into soft snowfall that blessed everyone equally. Or simply wonder, shared freely. Silence held for 3 heartbeats. Then applause began, scattered at first, then building as pack after pack recognized the demonstration's skill. Even some council members looked grudgingly impressed. Crane stood, attempting to regain control. "An impressive display, Miss Winters. But can you maintain such control under genuine stress? In actual combat situations?" Before I could respond, movement at the clearing's edge drew everyone's attention. 10 wolves emerged from the trees, moving with coordinated precision, the council's enforcement team, arriving exactly on schedule. "What is this?" Kieran demanded, moving toward me. "Insurance," Crane said coldly. "If Miss Winters truly has control, she'll submit to proper evaluation without issue." The enforcement team surrounded me, and I felt Kieran's rage through our bond, Elena's readiness to fight, Morgana's cold fury. But attacking now would prove the council right, that we were dangerous, uncontrolled. "It's okay," I called to my pack. "I can handle this." "Luna," Kieran started. "Trust me." The team closed in, and their leader spoke. "Luna Winters, you'll come with us for official evaluation. Resist, and we'll use force." I stood still, letting frost spread from my feet in perfect, controlled patterns. "And if I demonstrate control right here, right now, with all these witnesses? Our orders are to evaluate whether I'm dangerous. So evaluate." I raised my hands, and ice erupted, not wild, but absolutely precise. 10 individual barriers formed, surrounding each enforcement team member in transparent walls. I could freeze you solid. I could make these walls unbreakable. I could end this before you took another breath. I met the leader's eyes through his ice prison. But I won't. Because control means choosing not to use power when you have it. Release me from this harassment, acknowledge that I've proven myself, and I'll let you go unharmed. Persist, and I'll leave you frozen until the gathering ends and every pack here witnesses your failure. Crane stood, fury and calculation warring on his face. "This is exactly the kind of threat." "It's self-defense," another alpha called out. I didn't know her, but her voice held authority. "The girl demonstrated control, offered peaceful resolution, and your team moved to detain her anyway. That's harassment, not evaluation." Others joined in, alphas I didn't know speaking up. Marcus, surprisingly, stood. I rejected Luna Winters for being ordinary. That was my mistake, my loss. But even I can see she's demonstrated extraordinary control today. Leave her alone, Crane. The tide had turned. Public opinion, the thing the council relied on most, was shifting against them. Crane saw it too, his expression darkening further. Release them, he ordered me coldly. I let the barriers dissolve, the enforcement team stumbling free. Thank you for the evaluation opportunity, I said, sweet as poisoned honey. I hope the results are satisfactory. The gathering dissolved into chaos after that. Packs approaching to congratulate or question me, the council retreating in angry huddles, enforcement teams looking lost and embarrassed. Kieran reached me first, pulling me into his arms. That was the most terrifying, impressive thing I've ever witnessed, he murmured against my hair. Did it work? Look around. I did. Wolves from a dozen packs wanted to speak with me, asking about training, about heritage, about possibilities they'd never considered. The narrative was changing, exactly as I'd hoped. But Morgana's face held warning. You've made powerful enemies today, Little Moon. The council doesn't forget humiliation. Then they'd better get used to it. I leaned into Kieran's support, feeling his pride through our bond. Because I'm not hiding anymore. Chapter 9, Winter's Fury. They came at dawn, 3 days after the gathering. 20 wolves, full enforcement team, and something else. A vehicle carrying equipment I didn't recognize, technology that hummed with wrongness against my skin. Bond breaker, Morgana said grimly, sensing it too. They're done with subtlety. The pack mobilized instantly, Elena directing defensive positions while Kieran moved to confront the intruders at our border. I stood on the pack house steps, Frost already swirling ready. Elder Crane emerged from the lead vehicle, but he wasn't in charge anymore. The cold counselor from before stepped forward. I'd learned her name was Victoria Steele, head of magical containment. Kieran Frost, Luna Winters, you're both under arrest for defying council authority and threatening enforcement personnel. We've broken no laws, Kieran said firmly. Luna demonstrated control publicly, with dozens of witnesses. She demonstrated the threat she represents. Victoria gestured, and 4 wolves began unloading the device from the vehicle, a metal framework covered in runes and circuitry, pulsing with sickly energy. This ends now. You can't use that here, Morgana stepped forward, ancient fury in her voice. Bond breakers are forbidden except in cases of proven mate violence. We've redefined the protocols. Dangerous magical bonds require severing for public safety. Victoria smiled, cold and triumphant. Luna Winters bonded to an alpha, amplifying her already dangerous abilities. That bond must be broken. Through our connection, I felt Kieran's horror. Bond breakers didn't just sever mate connections. They destroyed the soul's ability to ever bond again, left both parties emotionally crippled, sometimes killed the weaker partner outright. Over my dead body, I said quietly, and let Winter answer my rage. Frost erupted from me in a wave, covering the ground between us in seconds. The enforcement team scrambled back, but I wasn't trying to hurt them, yet. Ice walls rose, separating the bond breaker device from its operators, surrounding it in crystalline barriers 3 feet thick. You want to break bonds? You'll have to get through me first. Luna, don't, Kieran started, but I was already moving forward, power flooding through me with the ease of weeks of training. The mate bond blazed between us, and I pulled on it, drawing his alpha energy into my magic. The temperature plummeted. Real snow began falling, mixing with my conjured ice, turning the autumn morning into winter's heart. The enforcement team tried to advance, but I created ice beneath their feet, sent them sprawling harmlessly. Stand down, Victoria shouted. Use of magic against council personnel is self-defense against assault with illegal weapons, another voice called out. I turned to see alphas arriving, the woman who'd spoken up at the gathering, Marcus with the Blackwood pack, others I recognized from that day. We saw your vehicles heading this direction, counselor. Thought we'd witness this arrest ourselves. Victoria's expression twisted with fury. This doesn't concern you. A council enforcement team using bond breakers concerns every mated wolf in existence, the female alpha said coldly. That technology was banned for good reason. If you're willing to use it here, what's to stop you from using it anywhere? She's too dangerous. She's defending herself. Marcus stepped forward, and I saw genuine regret in his eyes. Luna, I'm sorry. For everything. But you shouldn't have to face this alone. He turned to Victoria. The Blackwood pack stands with Frost Moon on this. No bond breakers. Not here, not anywhere. Other alphas joined in, forming a line between the council team and our pack. Public opinion wielded like a weapon. Victoria saw her advantage dissolving. This isn't over, she hissed. The council will hear of this rebellion. Good, Kieran said coldly. Let them hear that their agents tried to use forbidden weapons against a wolf who's demonstrated perfect control. Let them hear that 20 packs stood against it. And let them know that if they come for my mate again, they'll face all of us. The enforcement team began backing toward their vehicles, realizing they were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. But Victoria wasn't done. She pulled something from her coat, small, metallic, covered in runes. Before anyone could react, she threw it. The device struck the ground between Kieran and me, and agony exploded through our bond. Not breaking it, but attacking it, sending soul-tearing pain through the connection. I screamed, dropping to my knees. Kieran collapsed beside me, our bond writhing under the assault. Portable breaker, Victoria said with satisfaction. Not enough to sever completely, but sufficient to incapacitate. Ice erupted from me in a wave of pure instinct and rage. Not controlled, not precise, just winter's fury made manifest. The blast caught Victoria and 3 enforcement team members, freezing them solid mid-motion. The device shattered under the cold's intensity, and the pain in the bond ceased. I stared at what I'd done, horror replacing rage. The frozen wolves were still alive. I could sense their hearts beating, slow but steady, but I'd lost control. Done exactly what the council feared. Luna. Kieran's hand found mine, and warmth flooded through our bond, steadying me. Breathe. It's okay. I froze them. My voice shook. I lost control. You protected us. Morgana knelt beside me, her hands on my shoulders. That device was killing your bond. What you did was survival, not loss of control. But I could have killed them. And didn't. The female alpha approached carefully. You froze them in a way that preserves life. Even in rage and pain, you pulled back from lethal force. That's control, Luna. Real control. Thaw them, Kieran said quietly. Show them mercy even when they showed you none. I focused, pulling the cold back degree by careful degree. The ice around the frozen wolves melted slowly, gently, leaving them gasping and shivering but unharmed. Victoria stared at me with something that might have been fear or respect. I couldn't tell which. Get out, Kieran said, his voice alpha command that couldn't be denied. Take your people and your weapons and leave my territory. If the council has complaints, they can file them through proper channels. But you're done here. This time they left, Victoria casting one last look at me, calculation and promise of future conflict. When they'd gone, the gathered alphas approached. That was impressive and terrifying in equal measure, the female alpha said. She extended her hand. Sarah Nightshade, Crescent Pack. If you ever need allies against the council, you have them. Others echoed the sentiment, solidarity forming from shared threat. Marcus approached last, hesitant. I know I have no right to say this, but I'm proud of you, Luna. You've become someone extraordinary. He glanced at Kieran. Take care of her. She deserves it. I know. Kieran's arm wrapped around me, possessive and protective. And I will. When everyone had left, when it was just our pack again, I finally let myself shake. Kieran held me while Elena secured the perimeter, and Morgana disposed of the shattered bond breaker device. They'll come back, I whispered. With more weapons, more wolves. They won't stop until I'm contained or dead. Then we make sure they fail. He tilted my chin up. Luna, what you did today, protecting our bond, showing mercy even in rage, that's who you are. Not the threat they want you to be, but the woman I love. You love me? The words slipped out, vulnerable and hopeful. Completely. Absolutely. From the moment I found you by that stream. He smiled. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. Probably. I kissed him, letting the bond sing between us, warm and whole and unbroken. I love you too. Even though your timing is terrible. We can work on that. Chapter 10, The Choice. The council's response came swiftly. Not another enforcement team, but an official decree. Luna Winters was declared a Class A magical threat, and any pack harboring her would be stripped of territorial rights and council protection. They're trying to force my hand, Kieran said, reading the document. Make me choose between you and the pack's survival. Then I leave. I stood, decision already made. I won't let everyone suffer for my existence. Sit down. Elena pushed me back into my chair. Nobody's leaving anybody. We knew this was coming. Besides, Jamie added quietly, we voted. All 27 of us. Unanimously in favor of telling the council, where they can shove their decree. Warmth flooded my chest. You can't all risk everything. We already are. Kieran pulled me close. Luna, my pack chose you before the council made threats. That doesn't change because they're escalating. Morgana entered, her expression grave. They're not just escalating. They're declaring war. I have contacts who say the council is assembling their full force. Every enforcement team, every allied pack that owes them favors. They're planning a siege. How long? Elena was already moving, mentally calculating defenses. Days. Maybe less. Morgana looked at me. Luna, there's one more thing. The council has acquired something ancient. A binding collar, used centuries ago to suppress magical bloodlines. If they get that on you, your power will be locked away, possibly permanently. Then we don't let them get close. I stood, feeling determination crystallize. Elena, what do we need? Allies, fortifications, and time. She spread a map across the table. The Nightshade pack will stand with us, probably Blackwood too after Marcus's display. But we need more. We need overwhelming public support, so the council can't act without consequences. I'll reach out to the alphas from the gathering, Kieran said. Appeal to their self-interest. If the council can do this to us, they can do it to anyone. And I'll work with Luna, Morgana added. If they're bringing everything they have, she needs to be ready to unleash everything she has. The next days blurred together. Alphas arrived from sympathetic packs, bringing warriors and support. Elena fortified our borders with strategic positioning. And Morgana pushed me to my absolute limits, teaching me things she'd kept hidden. The ice is just the surface, she explained during our most intense session. Moon witches were called that because we drew power from the celestial body itself. On a full moon, which happens tomorrow night, your abilities will amplify tenfold. Tomorrow? I stared at her. Why didn't you mention this before? Because that kind of power is intoxicating. Dangerous. You could level this entire territory if you lost control. Her eyes held ancient warning. But you could also protect everyone you love. The question is whether you're strong enough to wield it without letting it consume you. I have to be. I looked toward the pack house, where Kieran coordinated defenses. They're counting on me. That night, lying in Kieran's arms, I felt the moon's pull growing stronger. Power hummed beneath my skin, eager and wild. I'm scared, I whispered, of what I might become tomorrow. You'll become exactly who you've always been, he said firmly. Someone who chooses love over vengeance, protection over destruction. The power doesn't change that. What if it does? Then I'll remind you. He kissed me deeply, and the bond between us blazed with certainty. I'll anchor you, Luna. No matter how much power you channel, I'll make sure you remember who you are. The council's forces arrived at dawn, as the full moon set and the sun rose. 50 wolves, all enforcement trained. 10 vehicles carrying weapons and technology. An elder crane, with Victoria steel and the binding collar on a silver chain. Kieran stood at our border, me beside him, our allied packs forming ranks behind us. 23 packs total had answered the call, nearly half the regional wolves, all standing against council overreach. This is your final chance, Crane called out. Surrender Luna Winters, and the rest of you walk away without consequence. No. Kieran's voice held absolute authority. Luna is pack, mate, and under my protection. You want her, you go through all of us. So be it. Crane gestured, and the enforcement teams moved forward. Ice erupted from me, creating barriers that slowed their advance. But Victoria pulled out another device, a heat cannon that melted my ice faster than I could form it. The battle engaged across the border, wolves against wolves, technology against magic. I fought to maintain control, creating precise strikes that incapacitated without killing. But there were so many of them, and I was tiring. Through our bond, Kieran fed me his strength, but even that had limits. Then the sun set, and the full moon rose. Power flooded through me like a tidal wave, vast and overwhelming. Every lesson Morgana had taught me, every exercise, every moment of control, they all channeled into this instant. The temperature dropped 30 degrees in seconds. Real snow began to fall, mixing with conjured ice, until the entire battlefield disappeared under white. Luna, Kieran's voice came through the bond, anchoring me. Stay with me. You're still you. But the power sang, seductive and absolute. I could end this. Freeze every council wolf solid, shatter their weapons, break their organizations so thoroughly they'd never threaten anyone again. It would be so easy. Don't. Morgana appeared beside me, her own power joining mine. That's not control, little moon. That's corruption. The power will consume you if you let it. They won't stop, I gasped out, barely holding the magic back. Not until I'm dead or captured. Then we changed the game entirely. She took my hand, and our combined power shifted, reforming. Instead of weapons, we created beauty, a massive ice palace forming in the clearing's center, towering and magnificent. Every council wolf stopped, staring. This is Moon Witch power, Morgana called out. Not destruction, but creation. We could kill you all. Freeze this entire region solid. But we choose not to. Because that's what control means, having power and choosing not to abuse it. I pulled on the bond with Kieran, drawing not just his energy but his memories, his love, his unwavering belief in me. The wild power steadied, became purposeful. Instead of attacking, I created sanctuary, ice walls that surrounded the council forces, not trapping them but protecting everyone from their weapons. It ends now, I said, my voice carrying across the battlefield with supernatural clarity. You can try to contain me, collar me, break me. But you'll never succeed, because I'm not alone. I have a pack, allies, a mate who anchors me, and power you can't comprehend. So here's my offer, leave. Permanently. Revoke your decree, acknowledge that magical bloodlines have a right to exist freely, or I'll take this fight to every pack in the region. I'll show them what you fear, what you're trying to suppress. And I'll let them decide whether your control is worth maintaining. Silence held for endless seconds. Then Sarah Nightshade stepped forward. She's right. The council has overreached. We've all felt it, feared it, but never challenged it. Until now. She turned to the gathered alphas. I say we support Luna's terms. Magical bloodlines are part of our heritage, not a threat to be eliminated. Others joined in, voices rising in support. Even Marcus stood with his pack, nodding agreement. The tide had fully turned. Elder Crane looked old, suddenly defeated. This isn't over. Yes, I said firmly, it is. You're done hunting us, done trying to control what you don't understand. Go back to the council, tell them a new era has begun. One where power isn't feared, it's celebrated. Where wolves can be everything they are without hiding. The council forces withdrew, Victoria carrying the unused binding collar, Crane's authority shattered. When they'd gone, the ice palace remained, my statement and monument, beautiful proof that power could create instead of destroy. Kieran pulled me close as the moon reached its peak. You did it. You stayed in control. We did it. I looked at the gathered packs, wolves from across the region, who'd stood together against institutional oppression. All of us. Morgana approached, pride glowing in her ancient eyes. You've started something here, little moon. A revolution disguised as self-defense. The council will never be quite as powerful again. That night, as the moon blessed our victory and the ice palace sparkled under starlight, I stood with my mate and my pack, finally free. Not just from council threats, but from every voice that had ever said I was ordinary, weak, not enough. I was Luna Winters, Moon Witch, Alpha's mate, and I had never been ordinary. I just needed the chance to bloom. Chapter 11, Reconstruction. The weeks following our victory brought unexpected challenges. The council, humiliated but not destroyed, withdrew to regroup. But the change we'd started couldn't be stopped. Wolves across the region began coming forward, revealing magical gifts they'd hidden for years. Fire wielders, earth shapers, storm callers, empaths with extraordinary abilities. We've started something bigger than ourselves, Elena said, watching 3 new arrivals practice their abilities in our training grounds. The ice palace alone has become a symbol. Every pack is talking about it. The palace still stood, my magic sustained by periodic reinforcement. We'd transformed it from monument to sanctuary, a place where magical wolves could train safely, learn control, build community. We need structure, Morgana said during a pack meeting. A formal organization, training protocols, political protection. The council's retreating, but they'll return if we don't establish legitimate authority. The Magical Heritage Alliance, Sarah Nightshade proposed. She'd become a regular presence, her pack closely allied with ours. Autonomous from council control, but recognized under pack law. We provide training, protection, and advocacy for all supernatural bloodlines. With Luna as the face of it, Marcus added. He'd requested this meeting, wanting to make amends formally. You've proven magical wolves can be controlled, beneficial, powerful without being threatening. The region needs that leadership. I looked at Kieran, who squeezed my hand supportively. It's your choice. I'll support whatever you decide. The weight of responsibility settled over me. I'm not a politician. I'm just Just a 21-year-old who defeated the Council's enforcement, demonstrated perfect control under extreme pressure, and inspired a regional revolution? Elena grinned. Yeah, totally ordinary. I laughed despite the seriousness. Okay, but I can't do it alone. Morgana, you have centuries of knowledge. Sarah, your pack has political connections. Even you, Marcus, you understand council politics better than any of us. A council of our own, Morgana mused. Leadership distributed rather than centralized. I like it. We spent the next weeks building our organization, crafting bylaws and training programs. More magical wolves arrived daily, some with abilities we'd never imagined. A young wolf who could speak to animals, twins who shared consciousness across distances, an elder who could see probable futures. We're not just ice witches, I said, watching them all train together. We're a renaissance. Kieran wrapped his arms around me from behind. You're building something incredible. We're building it. I leaned into his warmth. I couldn't do this without you, without the pack. That's what makes this work, not one powerful individual, but a community of support. The mate bond between us had only strengthened, the attempted breaking leaving us more connected than before. We moved through each day in partnership, his alpha authority complementing my growing political influence, his steadiness balancing my creative fire. I love you, I said, simple and true. I love you too. He turned me in his arms. And I'm proud of you. The woman who fled broken and alone has become someone who shelters others, creates safe spaces, demands better from the world. Because I had safe space first. I kissed him softly. You gave me that. The whole pack did. That night, we gathered everyone for a celebration. Our pack, allied packs, new arrivals, even some curious visitors from neutral territories. The ice palace glowed with lights, magic and joy mixing in the air. Marcus approached me as I stood watching the festivities. I owe you an apology. A real one, not just words. You already apologized, I said neutrally. I apologized for the rejection. I need to apologize for being blind. He gestured to the gathering. This, what you've built, who you've become, I could have been part of it. We could have built it together. But I was too focused on what I thought I needed to see what was right in front of me. Yes, I agreed. You were. He winced but nodded. Sarah and I, it's not working. Political partnerships rarely do. We're ending it formally next month. I'm sorry for that. I'm not. He met my eyes. Because I learned something. The mate bond isn't just about destiny or fate. It's about choice. I rejected you, made my choice clear. And you chose Kieran, built something real with him. That's how it should work, conscious decision, not cosmic obligation. I'm glad you understand that now. And I meant it. Bitterness had no place in my heart anymore, not when it was so full of better things. Sarah joined us, surprising us both. I wanted to apologize too, Luna. I knew what Marcus was doing felt wrong, but I went along with it for political advantage. That was selfish. We were all taught that politics matter more than people, I said gently. You're learning different now. That's what counts. They left together, not as mates but as friends, and I felt genuinely happy for them. They'd find their paths eventually, just as I'd found mine. Kieran materialized at my side. Ready for this? He gestured to the gathering, where Morgana was calling everyone to attention. For what? Morgana insisted. Said you've earned it. My grandmother stood in the palace's center, power radiating from her. Tonight, we celebrate not just survival, but transformation. Luna Winters came to us broken, rejected, unsure of her place in the world. Over these months, she's become the foundation of something greater than any of us alone. She looked at me. Come here, little moon. I approached, nervous and curious. Morgana took my hands, and Frost danced between us, recognition, heritage, love. In the old ways, moon witches had a title for those who led our kind. Luna, which means moon, but also means light in darkness. You've been that, Luna Winters. A light when we needed one most. She released one hand, gesturing to the assembled crowd. I name you Luna Prima, first moon. Leader not by force or politics, but by choice and earned respect. Will you accept this responsibility? Tears blurred my vision. I will. The crowd erupted in howls and cheers, celebration echoing through the territory. Kieran pulled me close, fierce pride in every line of his body. Luna Prima, he murmured. It suits you. It terrifies me, I admitted. Good. Leadership without humility becomes tyranny. He kissed my forehead. But you have something the council never did. You remember what it's like to be powerless, rejected, afraid. That empathy will guide you better than any authority. The celebration lasted until dawn, wolves from a dozen packs mingling freely, magical and non-magical together in harmony. As the sun rose, painting the ice palace in amber and gold, I stood with Kieran and surveyed what we'd built. "It's not finished," I said. "The council's still out there, still planning. And there are other regions, other territories where magical wolves hide in fear." "Then we expand," he said simply. "Carefully, strategically, but we expand. Give every magical wolf what you found here: sanctuary, training, acceptance." "A movement," I murmured. "Not just a pack or alliance, but an actual movement. Led by you." He took my hand. "If you want it." I thought of the girl in the white dress, publicly rejected and broken. Then I thought of the woman I'd become, powerful, loved, leading something that mattered. The journey from one to the other had been painful, terrifying, transformative. "I want it," I said. "All of it. The responsibility, the risk, the chance to make things better." "Then let's begin." He smiled, love and partnership in every word. Together. Together. The word held promise and certainty both. Whatever came next, council retaliation, political maneuvering, the hard work of building lasting change, we'd face it as mates, as partners, as leaders of a revolution disguised as sanctuary. The sun climbed higher, melting frost except where my magic sustained it deliberately. A new day. A new era. And I was ready. Chapter 12, Renaissance. 6 months later, the Magical Heritage Alliance had grown beyond anything we'd imagined. 23 packs officially affiliated, 17 more in talks. The Ice Palace had expanded, training facilities and living quarters for wolves who needed sanctuary. Morgana had recruited other ancient magical bloodlines, healers who'd hidden for generations, seers who'd pretended to be ordinary, elementals of every type. I stood in what we now called the Hall of Heritage, watching young wolves practice together. A fire wielder in ice which creating steam sculptures. An earth shaper building protective walls while a wind dancer tested their strength. Magic and joy, no longer separated by fear. "The council requested another meeting," Elena said, joining me. "Official this time. They want to negotiate formal recognition." "How official?" "Regional accords level. They'd acknowledge our autonomy. We'd agree to participate in interpack governance." She grinned. "Basically, they're admitting defeat while trying to save face." "We should take it." I turned to her. "Not because we need their approval, but because official recognition protects everyone. Makes it harder for them to backslide later." "Agreed. Though I'm still voting for you to freeze Crane solid at least once during negotiations. For symmetry." I laughed, the sound bright and genuine. 6 months ago, I'd barely smiled. Now joy came easily, naturally, rooted in purpose and love. Kieran found us as the training session ended, automatically moving to my side. The mate bond hummed contentedly. We'd learned to work in harmony, his alpha strength and my magical power complementing perfectly. 3 more packs requesting training programs, he reported. "And we have a visitor. Someone you need to see." Intrigued, I followed him to the palace's formal receiving room. A young woman waited there, maybe 19, with silver-white hair and eyes that glowed faintly blue. When she saw me, she gasped. "You're real. I thought the stories were exaggerated, but you're really her." "Luna Prima." "Just Luna is fine." I approached carefully. "What's your name?" "Frost. My parents named me that because when I was born, the hospital room froze solid." She laughed nervously. "They hid me my whole life, said I was dangerous, broken. But I heard about you, about this place, and I had to see if it was true. If there's really somewhere I can be what I am without fear." My heart ached with recognition. "There is. You're safe here, Frost. You're home." She broke down crying, and I held her while she released years of fear and isolation. Others joined us, a healer to check her health, experienced ice witches to assess her abilities, pack members to welcome her with food and warmth. This was the work now. Not dramatic battles or political declarations, but one rescued wolf at a time. One sanctuary extended, one life transformed. That evening, Kieran and I walked the territory's perimeter, a habit we'd developed. Checking borders, but also stealing private time together. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "Taking on all this responsibility?" "Never." I leaned into his side. "Sometimes I'm tired, sometimes overwhelmed, but never regret. This is what I'm meant to do." "What we're meant to do," he corrected. "I'm your partner in this, Luna. Every step." "I know." I stopped, turning to face him properly. "And I'm grateful. For you, for this pack, for the life we've built." "We could make it more official," he said, suddenly nervous in a way I'd rarely seen. The mate bond is sacred, but there are ceremonies, public declarations. If you wanted, are you proposing to me, Kieran Frost? Yes. He pulled out a ring, simple silver with a moonstone that glowed with inner light. Luna Winters, Luna Prima, love of my life, will you formally bond with me? Let everyone know that what we have is forever. Joy exploded through me. Yes. Absolutely yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, and frost erupted around us spontaneously, celebratory, beautiful, my magic expressing what words couldn't. When he kissed me, the bond blazed bright enough that pack members emerged from nearby buildings, checking for threats, then laughing when they saw us. It's about time, Elena called. We've been waiting for you two to make it official. The celebration that night rivaled our first victory. But this time, it wasn't about survival or political change. It was simply about love, freely chosen and publicly declared. Marcus and Sarah attended, both genuinely happy for us. He'd found a new partner, a beta from Sarah's pack who valued his strategic mind and was teaching him the difference between politics and genuine connection. Sarah was exploring her own magical heritage, a latent gift for emotional reading that she'd suppressed her whole life. You were right, Marcus said, toasting us. About everything. Choice mattering more than destiny, power being about responsibility, love being built rather than simply felt. Thank you for showing me that, even though I had to learn it the hard way. We all learn the hard way sometimes, I said gently. What matters is that you learned. As midnight approached, Kieran and I stood together on the palace's highest point, overlooking territory that thrived with life and magic both. Do you remember the first night we met? He asked. You collapsed by that stream, frost spreading from your hands, convinced you were losing your mind? I remember thinking I had nothing left. That rejection had broken something fundamental. I looked at the ring on my finger, then at his beloved face. I was wrong. It broke chains I didn't know I was wearing. Let me become who I was always meant to be. And who's that? Someone powerful. Someone kind. Someone who builds rather than destroys. I kissed him softly. Someone loved. Always loved, he promised. Forever loved. Below us, the ice palace glowed with enchanted light, filled with wolves who'd found sanctuary, purpose, family. The Magical Heritage Alliance flag flew proudly, a silver moon on frost blue background, symbol of everything we'd built together. This was our legacy. Not power or political change or even personal victory, but the simple, profound truth that everyone deserved the chance to be fully themselves. That magic wasn't curse or threat, but gift. That rejection wasn't ending, but sometimes the painful beginning of something better. Snow began to fall, real snow this time, winter's first touch blessing our bonding night. I let my magic join it, creating patterns in the sky that spelled out everything I felt: gratitude, joy, hope, love. Kieran pulled me close, and we watched the snow fall together, two souls intertwined by choice and destiny both. Below us, our pack celebrated. Beyond them, the alliance grew stronger. And above us, the moon shone bright and full, blessing the renaissance we'd created. I was Luna Winters, Luna Prima, mate and leader, and Ice Witch proud. And I had never been ordinary. I just needed the right circumstances to bloom. The snow fell harder, beautiful and relentless, covering everything in possibility. Winter had come, and with it, promise of spring ahead. Growth. Change. Life. Everything we'd fought for. Everything we'd built. Everything I'd become. The Yendi. Thank you for joining Luna on her journey from rejection to empowerment, from isolation to community, from ordinary to extraordinary. May we all find the courage to embrace our true power, the wisdom to use it with compassion, and the love that anchors us through every storm. If you enjoyed Frost and Fury, please consider leaving a review and sharing this story with others who might need the reminder that rejection isn't ending. Sometimes it's transformation in disguise.